Madden is notoriously a game that at launch, coverage is always in shambles. It feels like zone, man, match. It doesn't matter what you call. It feels like everything is wide open. Well, Madden 26 has launched, in my opinion, with the greatest state of coverage that we have seen in recent years. And there's been a major change in the game to a coverage that you really couldn't run in years past. And now it is arguably the most versatile coverage in the game. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell, grab out your pen and pad, and let's get after it. Now, the coverage we're going to be talking about today is the cover 2 defense. And there are so many changes to this coverage that EA has hidden right beneath our nose. And I'm going to go through everything you need to know to run this coverage at a super high level. Now, what I'm going to teach you today is part of my 24 video coverage Bible that you can find live on gridirongameplans.gg right now. Gridiron Game Plans has been on top of the metas every year since 2020 when I opened this website. If you guys struggle with making adjustments to certain offensive formations, whether it's a bunch strong or a trips tight end, I have setups in the game plan that show you not only what coverage I call, but what individual adjustments I make to those coverages to shut down what players run online. This video is just one of those 24 videos, so make sure you guys go check that out on the website. You guys can unlock everything on the website. I still have my pre-sale offer available to you guys until the game hits worldwide launch. Right now we're still technically in pre-access, so make sure you guys take advantage of that deal. It is the best thing I offer all season long. Now, the Tampa 2, this is a coverage that doesn't match by default due to the presence of the zones that are in the slot defensive back positions. Now, obviously, if you're in a nickel defense, you're going to have one slot corner and one outside linebacker. Today, we're going to be focusing on dime because we're going to make this real easy to adjust. Now, if you have these hook zone curls on the field, you can expect that there will be no match. This is your standard spot drop cover 2, which is actually a little bit improved this year, but it's still going to have a lot of the same problems that we are used to from a lot of Maddens, really. I mean, when you talk about a streak in a corner, you know, Texas routes underneath, this is one of those coverages where if you get time in the pocket, you're always going to be able to throw the ball into what we call the cover 2 window, which is basically that area in between the safety and the corner. And a lot of cases too, you'll see teams that'll run what is called smash combo, which is basically to have a streak, a corner, and then some sort of like short curl or you know, sometimes a little in route on the backside. And this makes the cover 2, when you're not playing a match variant, so difficult to run against this, because again, you just end up with that stressor down the seam, and then this corner route is going to get over the top of that cloud flat. So we want to kind of add a little bit of spice to this coverage to allow it to match. And in order to do that, you guys are going to want to go into your hook zone curls, and we're going to modify them by changing them to what are called vertical hooks. To do this, you're going to click on the player, hit A, and then you're going to hit down on the left analog stick. That would be X and then down on the left analog stick on PlayStation. This is an adjustment you can make with outside linebackers and also with slot corners. So really easy adjustment. Now, what this effectively does is it makes the vertical hooks relate to the slot receivers, basically as if they're manned up. Okay, but you're going to be using this vertical hook because they're going to have a little bit more versatility than straight man would. They're going to do things in a smarter fashion, only match when they have to. So with this, now let's go back to this exact combo where maybe I'm running like a corner route and we'll just run a streak down the sideline. What you're going to see here with this is that now on both sides of the field against this combo, these vertical hooks will actually get active in matching those slot receivers. So now, rather than just anticipating that corner route being open, you saw that Jalen Ramsey is now running into the sideline with that threat. So in our first example, we saw that this player would just kind of take away the vertical release of this corner. But when you put this as a vertical hook rather than a hook zone curl, it will then latch into match and run with this, which will take away this throw. Now, the cool thing about this is that this used to be something that was in Madden, but only on a true 2 receiver side of the formation, meaning that if you have a running back on that side of the twins, like we do to the right of the formation here, we would not get that match if the running back were to, for instance, run a table route. Now, what we're going to see right here is that this year, EA has made it where the vertical hooks will match no matter what. Now, how do we deal with the running back? We'll get to that momentarily. I just want to show you that the vertical hook on Mark Andrews will match him to the corner. So when I want to throw that corner route, you have a player that is impacting that throw, taking it away. And this will also, for what it's worth, apply to routes that cross the field as well. So if I were to put, for instance, Flowers on a post, and then I decide to run off the entire right side of the field and just give myself a little backside shallow cross to Bateman, you will see on the left that Jalen Ramsey is going to pass off that vertical to the mid-read zone, which will then take it man-to-man. And then he will play the shallow cross, which is a wonderful feature of this. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll always smother it. There are readings that go into play here. He is one of the better man coverage corners in the game, so he does a pretty good job here, especially if you're going to have a flat defender, which we do over here on this side of the field. But there are definitely some weaknesses to the cover two, namely this sideline release by the outside receiver Hopkins. You could throw this into what is called the cover two window, but this is where we start to have a conversation about playing some mind games with our opponent. So let's go back to taking this cover two and just improving it, especially against the outside receivers. There are some really simple calls that teams will make against a cover two in real life. The first one that I'm going to talk about is basically called dagger. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run a backside in route to Rashad Bateman. Now, if I'm playing cloud flat zones on the outside, what this will do is it will just kind of jam that guy, but not play him over the middle. He wants to play the sideline cloud. If we're matching vertically down the seam with Flowers and Andrews, that means that the inside cut to Bateman on this dig is going to be wide open underneath the mid read. So what you'll see here is that unless the pass rush impacts us, we are in a lot of trouble. When these vertical hooks are going to run with these streaks, you have to get home, because this throw to Bateman as he cuts over the middle is wide open. You have nothing sitting in the middle of the field here. This is why it's important to do a couple of things. Number one, you mix up, especially when somebody is running a dagger call on you, you mix up playing match on the slot receiver. And what I mean by that is maybe in this particular case, we go with a hook zone curl and a cloud flat, because I want this side of the field to have Ramsey kind of sitting and poaching that dig route that would otherwise be open if we were playing match. So now you see that Ramsey is in a perfect spot to intercept that. That is the first thing that we could do. The second thing that we could do, however, let's say for whatever reason, we're running basically kind of like a second level follow combo, which would be something like a post route and then a dig in behind it. And let's say for whatever reason, I want to match Flowers in the slot. What we could do from there is add in what is called a soft squat zone. The rules of a soft squat are very simple. If your player runs a vertical route, you will play it man to man unless something enters your flat. Then you will jump off of it and trap the throw in the flat. So when we're talking about this two receiver side of this formation, what you will see is you will get match on this left side of the field. And this throw to the dig is going to at least have someone impacting the catch point, unlike the cloud flat with the vertical hook. So you can play a lot of head games out of the cover two with what players are matching and what players are spot dropping, or just having an entire match side of the field. So you see right here, rather than a vertical hook and a cloud, I go to a vertical hook and a soft squat, and we end up matching perfectly. Now on the right side of the field, I just played basically the landmark dropping cover two. There's no match here on the right side of the field. And I want to explain why I would probably do that, or at least play a soft squat with a vertical hook or a hook curl on this side. So as we talked about, if you are dealing with a outside fade release to DeAndre Hopkins, if nothing enters the flat on this route combination, you can play a soft squat on the outside and you can play a vertical hook here in this defense. What this is going to allow you to do is have both those players basically run. And I can't throw that cover two hole shot in between the cloud flat and the safety. The soft squat's really, really good at that. What the soft squat will give up, however, is the fade if something enters its flat. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play this coverage in a manner where I have this running back leaking into the flat on the right late. And I want you to watch that outside corner. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here so you can see this. He's going to kind of run and then he's like, oh yeah, I've got to go get that. And then this throw becomes open again. So this is why typically on the running back side of the field, we've got to make a little bit of a mix up or just make some concessions if they're throwing the running back in the flat, because it becomes a little bit tough. Okay. I would actually recommend in a lot of cases, if you're going to play like match across the board, meaning 2 soft squats and 2 vertical hooks, you would go ahead and just man up the running back. Or if you can find a 3 rec hook, that would be a good adjustment as well, because that will kind of mark the running back out of the backfield. Now, if you are playing a soft squat on the outside and you man up the running back underneath, this will basically make it so the soft squat no longer is worried about anybody that is individually manned up in the throw. So he will continue to play his match rules unless someone that isn't individually manned or individually matched enters his flat, which is not going to happen in this case, because the only threat that we needed to take away was the running back. So by manning up the running back into the flat, we actually basically turned this defense into a straight match. Now, there is one final thing I want to talk about. Now, all these rules, just for what it's worth, are against twins. There is a completely different rule set against trips. So I want to clarify on that. We're talking about twins formations here. If you guys want to learn this type of detail for trips, make sure you guys go check out my coverage Bible on Gridiron. It's the best coverage product I have ever put out in my life playing this game. I'm not kidding. I have had so many people reach out to me and say that I have had them clamping the field already. And the best part is that it's just coverage rules. They get to choose what formation they want to run these coverages out of. So if they have a blitz or they have a good shed defense or good run defense, they basically can just piecemeal together my coverage rules with whatever front they want to run. But the last thing that we have to talk about with this is how the vertical hooks respond to underneath routes. So if you have a underneath drag, you see here that in this case, this vertical hook will take that underneath player. Because we are playing match on this side, that means that there's going to be no one in zone on the right side of the field. So underneath attacking shallow crosses that a lot of teams will run against cover 2 and just kind of dump it down, you have to have something that can chase that. So these built-in vertical hooks will drive on these crosses. And you see here that in this case, the soft squat mixed with the vertical hook, see how this soft squat latched onto the dig behind? So in this case, the vertical hook says, my guy's vertical, but your guy's under. Let me jump this underneath route. You take my guy the rest of the way. Meanwhile, we still have a mid-read zone in the middle of the field that is taking away that inside lane dig to that player. And then when you take a look out here, I mean, you're not throwing the seam because there's safety help. You're not throwing the whole shot because it's basically matched and there's safety help. And you're not dumping the ball in the flat to the running back. So what I want to do here just one last time to kind of illustrate is if I'm playing a soft squat and a vertical hook, let's say I'm playing it on this left side, and I have a route combo that is like this. This is what is called drive. It's a shallow cross by the slot with an outside deeper dig. You will see that the vertical hook will instantly snap into man-to-man on that underneath route by Flowers, while the soft squat is playing that backside dig. So you guys have so much flexibility out of this cover 2, so long as you understand which zones that you want to run and how your opponent is attacking it. This is truly one of the best coverages in the game this year. If you really invest your time into just kind of working with those vertical hooks, mixing in the soft squat, sometimes playing a cloud flat, sometimes manning up the running back and playing the soft squat, sometimes trapping the hard flat completely. You guys are going to be able to clamp the field from this 2-high defense, which is great because the cover 2 is not a half bad run shell either, with those outside corners playing in the flats for the run. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video breakdown. We're going to be real high level all year long here on the channel and even deeper into the game over on Gridiron. Make sure that you guys are subscribed here. It's going to be a great year. I really appreciate all the support we've had over the years, but this is going to be our best year yet, that I assure you. Let's lock in. Until next time, this is Zan. Get the lab and good luck.